These are the standard filters by FreeWell for the Insta360 Go Ultra. You've got an ND8, an ND32, and an ND64, and then this last one is a variable polarizer, or it's a circular polarizer, so it's not variable. But I want you to look at the lens and watch the light reflecting as I just turn this little lens part at the top. You're going to see how that gets, see how that's really bright right in there, and then if I keep turning this, it's actually going to cut that down so you get a much cleaner pass-through. That's the benefit of a polarizer. When I'm holding this camera, your thumb is naturally on top of this little button. So like you can, or your, whatever finger it is, if I'm holding it this way, it's right there. If I'm holding it this way, it's right here. And so you're never covering the mic, which is up here, and these are dead cats. This is not like a personal thing. You can get these on Amazon. I have them down below, but and because this thing can rotate to fit wherever the light is coming from, you could kill light that's coming from above or light from down below. I'm going to show you how this works with just the studio setup, which is pretty easy. So if I just point the camera right down here at these two guys like this, I'm going to go ahead and start the recording. What I want you to notice is that from this little section right here, you see how all this light is reflecting right there? If I turn the polarizer just a little bit, I can get that glare pretty strong. Now if I was filming at water or like on a street where there's light coming up off the street, all I have to do is turn this little polarizer and I can kill that light. So see how much cleaner that image is now? As opposed to if I didn't have a polarizer, I'd be stuck with something like this. So you get a bunch of glare coming off of that. But with the polarizer, I can just kill the light reflecting off of that direction, and now I have a much cleaner image for both of these. So that is the reason why you would want to go with a polarizer over just a normal ND filter. And these are ND filters with polarizers. So if you're someone that films a lot in bright light, and you're sitting there thinking like, I would love to have a polarizer to cut down on the reflections, maybe if you're filming near water, or if you're filming just on streets where there's going to be reflections, things like that, or maybe like even on windows and things like that. That's a huge one, is if you want to film like glass or things that have like light passing through and reflection, then a polarizer is going to really help in those situations. But if it's really bright, then an ND polarizer is a great option. So this is the ND8, and all I'm going to do is show you that it essentially works in the exact same way, except this is for brighter situations. So while I do have studio lighting in here, it's not like as harsh as sunlight, but this will give you kind of an idea. You can see how much darker that is just looking through here, but also, and I can't even really show you how the polarizer is working because it's already so reflective. But what we're going to do now is the same test. Now, one reason to consider not using an ND filter is because if it's not bright enough, then it's going to crank your ISO, and we'll talk about that in just a second. So watch really quickly. I've got the same situation here, and then all I do is turn the little polarizer, and you can see how that's impacting it, right? And that's just the thing that's on the top of the lens. It's this little red ring right here. If I just turn this little red ring, that's what's changing the polarizer direction. Now, the reason that you would use an ND filter is if it's super bright outside, because what you don't want to do is overcrank your shutter speed. All right, and here's what that means. Normally when you're filming, if I'm filming at 4K 24, then I want my shutter speed, if I'm controlling it manually, to be at like basically 1/50 or 1/60, depending on what the camera will let you do. Because you want your shutter to be basically double whatever your your frame rate is. So if I'm filming at 4K 30, then I would want my shutter speed to be 1/160. Or 1/60. If I was filming at 4K 60, then I want my shutter to be 1/120. And that just creates a nice motion blur for whatever frame rates you're shooting at. Now, if you have a really bright day and you're filming in like auto mode, or even if you're not filming in auto mode, if it's really bright, then what will happen is if you're filming at like 4K 60, you might have to have your shutter at like 1/300 or 1/400 to try and bring the light down so it's not just blowing out everything. What an ND filter lets you do, whether it's the 30 or the 32, the 8, the 16 or whatever, is it lets you bring that shutter speed back down because it essentially puts sunglasses on your camera, which is pretty cool, and it gives you a higher quality image. Now, this won't affect everyone. Over cranking the shutter, I don't think necessarily makes a huge difference in image quality, but if you are someone that wants that like next level professional look, it can really help. Now, one thing that I will say is having the polarizer is something that I'm always going to use at the beach now, but if it's like an overcast, cloudy day, then I don't want an ND filter, because if I have an ND filter on, then what my camera will do is it will crank the ISO. And so the ISO essentially is what is controlling how much light is coming into the camera, or how sensitive the camera is to light. And so if there is not a lot of light, then it's going to make the camera really sensitive. So if I have like a 400, 1600, whatever ISO, it's going to make it really sensitive, but that usually makes the image really grainy. So if you're filming in low light, the ISO is going to go up, but it's why the image looks pretty grainy or blurry or whatever. And so what happens is I'm going to want just a clear polarizer on darker days so that I can still cut out any reflection from the water, but I'm not I'm not making my ISO jump to try and overcompensate for lower light. I can keep my ISO low, which is going to create a much cleaner image. And that's more of a techie reason, more of a filmer reason for why you would want that. So yeah, anyone buying the Ultra probably doesn't need to go all this way, but at the same time, if you're buying the Ultra and you want to do vlogs and you want to get out there and film stuff, then like these little tools are going to let you kind of like step into that next world of camera video content creation where you can start to get creative and refine some stuff and learn about these other tools that are out there to give you that higher quality image and experience, which is fun. You know, if you want to explore this craft, why not go all in? And that's what I'm doing. I have decided to go all in on the Ultra. I have the DJI Nano, but I needed to pick which one I really wanted to focus on, and I just love so many things about this little camera. The thumb grip has become one of my favorite parts, just for like walking around and holding it over what the Nano experience was. I can't tell you how much I love this little flippy screen that allows me to do that. It's these little features that the quality of life improvements from this situation that really make it the one that I'm picking. Also, when I'm holding this camera, your thumb is naturally on top of this little button. So like you can, or whatever finger it is, if I'm holding it this way, it's right there. If I'm holding it this way, it's right here. And so you're never covering the mic, which is up here, and these are dead cats. This is not like a personal thing. You can get these on Amazon. I have them down below, but like this, it's naturally right here. So if I press this button, I'm recording and I'm holding it just like that. Or if I'm over here, I'm holding it, you know, just like this. It's just such a natural way to interact with the camera that I really prefer the Ultra. And so I want to start like, how far can we take it with the filters, with all of this other stuff? And yeah, I'm very excited about this camera. Also, I have this little strap right here. Let me stop my alarm really quick. I have this little strap right here that allows me to just quickly pop this guy off like that, connect him right here, boom. And this has become almost like an accessory at this point. It's like my own little, but that way if it drops or something, I don't have to worry about it. And it's not like I'm depending on this to hold onto the camera. It's more that I just have it on there so that I can, yeah, I'm tethered right here, but it takes 2 seconds to pop that off, so that I can not have to worry about it if I am holding it and filming stuff. That the main reason actually that I use this is we went to Legoland and I wanted to make sure that like when I was doing stuff, filming, like if we were on a roller coaster or whatever, and I just used this camera really quickly, I knew that if I did drop the camera, I wasn't gonna lose the camera. So that's pretty much it. But I really like this little strap. I've kind of like mastered how I wanna use it, and now I can very quickly just pop this guy like that, boom, and it's just a simple little thing on there. So just my little use case. I'll try and share those little things with you guys. But really excited about these and testing these out. And I think that if you're someone that wants to take your filming to the next level, this is something you should seriously consider. All right. So remember, we're either going to sink or swim. I love this little framework for my life of just like keep going, keep grinding, find the way. If I'm sitting in water, I'm either sinking or I'm swimming. Let's keep swimming, and we're going to rise with the tide. I'll see you on the flip side.